Let me ask you a strange question. If someone told you that having excellent credit might actually be slowing down your financial progress, would you believe them? Because for most of our lives, we are told the exact opposite. Build good credit, protect your credit, improve your credit score, almost like your financial life depends on it. And to be fair, in some ways it does. But here's the uncomfortable part nobody really talks about. A high credit score doesn't necessarily mean you're financially strong. In fact, sometimes it just means you've become very good at borrowing money. And if you're not careful, the system that rewards you for having good credit can quietly push you into a life where you're always approved, but never actually getting ahead. Today, I want to show you the hidden cost of good credit that almost nobody talks about. A lot of people believe that a high credit score is the finish line. Like once you cross 750 or 800, you've somehow made it financially. Banks trust you, lenders approve you, interest rates drop, you feel responsible, disciplined, financially mature. And to be fair, building good credit does require some discipline. You pay your bills on time, you keep balances low, you avoid missing payments, all good habits. But here's where things start to twist. Because the system that measures your credit is not measuring how wealthy you are. It measures something else entirely. It's measuring how reliable you use debt. Think about that for a second. Your credit score doesn't go up because you saved money. It doesn't go up because you invested. It doesn't go up because you built asset. It goes up because you borrowed money and paid it back exactly how the lender wanted. In other words, the better you are at participating in the borrowing system, the higher your score becomes. And that's not necessarily bad, but it creates a subtle illusion because society starts treating a high credit score like proof of financial success. Employers check it, landlords check it, car dealerships celebrate it. You see advertisements saying things like, unlock the power of an 800 credit score. Elite credit holders quality for life. Your credit score determines your financial future. And slowly, without realizing it, a lot of hardworking people begin chasing a number that doesn't actually measure the thing they think it does. Because someone can have an 800 credit score and still have no investments, very little savings, and a net worth close to zero. According to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, a large portion of American households have relatively low liquid savings even when their incomes are stable, meaning many people who look financially responsible on paper are still living financially fragile lives. So the real question becomes, if good credit isn't the same thing as real financial strength, then what exactly are we building? Because the hidden cost of good credit isn't obvious. It doesn't show up on your credit report, but it can show up in your entire financial life. Imagine someone named Marcus. Marcus is 32, works a solid 9-to-5 job, makes about $75,000 a year. He's responsible, pays every bill on time, never misses a credit card payment, keeps his credit utilization low. His credit score around 780, which is considered excellent by most lenders. If Marcus walks into a bank today, they'll gladly approve him for things like a new car loan, a higher credit card limit, a personal loan, maybe even a bigger mortgage. Because from the system's perspective, Marcus is the perfect borrower. He's predictable, reliable, low risk. But now let's zoom out and look at Marcus' actual financial life. His monthly take-home after is roughly $4,700. Here's where the money goes. Rent, car insurance, car payment, groceries, phone plus internet, then into the quiet category most people overlook, subscriptions and small monthly payments. Now let's look at good credit spending. Marcus uses his credit cards for everyday purchases because he likes the reward points. Gas, restaurants, weekend outings, random Amazon purchases, he usually spends about $900 a month, then pays most of it off. On paper, Marcus is doing everything right, but when the month ends, Marcus is lucky if he saves $200 to $300. And if something unexpected happens, a car repair, a medical bill, a sudden trip, the savings account takes a hit. So here's the strange reality. Marcus has excellent credit score, but financially, he still feels like he's running in place. And Marcus isn't bad with money. But here's the deeper question. If someone can be doing everything right, have excellent credit, and still feel financially stuck, then maybe the score that we are celebrating isn't actually measuring the thing that matters most. A credit score is often treated like a financial report card, but it's not grading your wealth. It's grading your behavior inside the debt system. And once you understand how the score is calculated, this becomes obvious. Most credit scores are based on factors like payment history, credit utilization, length of credit history, credit mix, new credit inquiries, notice something missing, savings, investments, assets. None of those things increase your credit score. You could have $200,000 invested in index funds, and your credit score wouldn't have moved an inch. But open a new credit card, use it consistently, and pay it back on schedule. Your score improves. So what the system actually rewards is controlled borrowing. Borrow money, use it regularly, pay it back predictably, repeat, and from a lender's perspective, that makes perfect sense. Banks don't make money when you avoid debt. Think about it like a gym membership. Imagine a gym that gives you a score based on how often you enter the building, not how strong you are, not how healthy you are, not how consistent you show up. Someone walks into the gym every day and barely works out, would still get a higher score than someone who trains intensely at home. Credit works in a similar way. It rewards participation, not independence, because that's where the hidden tension begins. Because the habits that build a great credit score don't always build great financial freedom. Using credit frequently improves your score, but frequent borrowing can also slowly normalize financing your entire lifestyle. Your car, your phone, your furniture, your vacations, even everyday purchases, and the more this becomes normal, the easier it is to confuse access to money with ownership of wealth. And once that line blurs, a lot of hardworking people unknowingly start building lives that are well financed, but not truly financially secure. Let me give you an image that makes this easier to see. Imagine your financial life is a bucket of water. Every dollar you earn flows into that bucket. Your job fills it. Your side hustles fill it. Your income is the water source. Now imagine small holes slowly appearing in the bucket. One hole is a car payment. Another hole is credit card interest. Another hole is monthly financing for a new phone. Another hole is buy now pay later purchases. Individually, none of them seem that dangerous. Each one feels manageable. $40 here, $120 there, $300 somewhere else. But here's the part people underestimate. Every financed purchase creates another hole in the bucket, and the bucket never stops leaking. Now here's where good credit changes the story. If your good credit score is high, it becomes incredibly easy to add more holes, because lenders are constantly offering new ones. Upgrade your car with low monthly payments. Finance the new phone for just $35 a month. Pre-approved for $15,000. Buy now, pay later. It feels harmless because the payments are small, but over time, something subtle happens. Your income keeps pouring into the bucket, yet the water level never really rises. You're working hard, earning more, maybe even getting raises, but financially, it still feels like there's never enough breathing room. Now contrast that with a different approach. Instead of poking holes into the bucket, you start sealing them. You buy fewer things on financing. You eliminate payments one by one, and suddenly something surprising happens. the water level starts rising. Not because you're earning dramatically more, but because less of your money is escaping every month. That's when people experience something most borrowers never feel: financial breathing room. And ironically, the breathing room often has very little to do with their credit score. A high credit score is not proof that you're winning financially. It's proof that you've been a reliable participant in the borrowing system. And again, that's not inherently bad. Credit can absolutely be useful. It can help you buy a home, start a business, handle emergencies. But the mistake many people make is confusing borrowing power with financial power. Imagine two people both earning similar salaries. Both have credit scores above 760, but one of them has 6 months of expenses paid, investments growing quietly in the background, very few monthly payments, while the other has multiple financed purchases, high monthly obligations, little cash savings. On paper, their credit profiles might look equally impressive, but financially, their situations are completely different because one person built borrowing reliability, the other built financial resilience. So what do you actually do with this information? Do you ignore your credit score completely? No. Credit is still a useful tool, but the key shift is simple. Stop treating your credit score like the goal of your financial life. Treat it like a background utility, something that works quietly in the background while you focus on things that actually build wealth. For most of us, the idea of good credit was introduced as a kind of financial milestone, something responsible adults have, something you work toward, something that proves you've got your money together. And for years, that belief quietly shapes how people make financial decisions. They protect their score, they monitor it, they celebrate when it climbs, and rarely does anyone step back and ask a much deeper question. What is this number actually encouraging me to build? Because the system rewards people who borrow consistently and repay reliably. But your long-term financial freedom usually comes from something different. It comes from owning more of your life, owning your time, owning your assets, owning the cash flow that your work produces. And the moment that shift happens, something interesting changes. You stop chasing financial approval. You start building financial independence. You start noticing how many purchases society encourages you to finance. And when you realize good credit makes it incredibly easy to say yes to all of it, and you start building financial independence, real wealth often comes with being comfortable with saying no. No to unnecessary payments. No to financing things that don't grow your future. No to structuring your entire income around obligations. Because the ultimate goal isn't to prove that lenders trust you. The ultimate goal is to build a life where you don't need them as often. Where your money works quietly in the background. Where your income creates breathing room instead of pressure. And where financial decisions are made from choices, not necessity. A good credit score can open doors, but ownership is what lets you walk through life without constantly borrowing the keys. If this conversation made you see money a little differently, share it with someone who works hard but still feels like they're running in place. Because a lot of people are chasing financial success without realizing the scoreboard they're watching might not be measuring the thing that actually matters. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for more videos coming your way.